Lauren Sanchez and Jeff Bezos aren't just a couple, they're a headline. Their $45 million wedding wasn't merely a celebration, it was a spectacle. Imagine Venice transformed into a billionaire's dream, candlelit canals glowing under the night sky, gowns worth more than most homes, and roses spilling across the city like a royal coronation. The guest list read like a Hollywood awards show, but even among the glittering A-list, all eyes were locked on them. From the outside, Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's love story looked like a billionaire's fairy tale, sealed with luxury, dripping in diamonds, and crowned by a $45 million Venetian wedding. But behind the glittering canals and camera flashes, something far less romantic was brewing. Whispers began to surface, pointing to a man from Lauren's past, not just any man, but someone who knew her long before the private jets, the paparazzi, and the Amazon empire. Back when she was still hustling, still climbing, still desperate to make her mark. Now, he's breaking his silence. No more holding back. And what he's revealing isn't the polished, picture-perfect version the world has seen. He's peeling back the curtain on the secrets Lauren kept locked away, the dark corners that never made it to glossy magazines or Instagram feeds. His words threaten to shake the foundation of Hollywood's newest power couple, raising questions that neither Bezos nor Sanchez may want answered. From her early days in Albuquerque to chasing fame in LA, this is the side of Lauren Sanchez the world was never meant to see. With a string of powerful, high-profile men in her past, Lauren Sanchez has never been the type to dim her light, or shy away from the spotlight. And now, just weeks after tying the knot with Jeff Bezos in a jaw-dropping $45 million wedding that felt like it was ripped straight from a billionaire's fantasy, the newly crowned bride is already waist-deep in drama. One of her ex-lovers has stepped out of the shadows, loud, unapologetic, and ready to spill secrets. What he's claiming about the now-billionaire bombshell isn't just scandalous, it's the kind of revelation that could send shockwaves through Bezos's picture-perfect world. But before the glitz, the chaos, and the parade of headlines, Lauren Sanchez was simply a girl chasing a dream. She wasn't draped in designer gowns or cruising on superyachts, she was a storyteller in the making, grinding her way through a cutthroat industry that chews up far more than it rewards. Her rise to the top was no overnight miracle, it was ambition, charm, and calculated moves. And now, as old flames reignite in the most public way possible, the past she thought she left behind might just be ready to burn its way back into the present. She began her career from the ground up, taking on the role of a desk assistant at COP in Los Angeles, fully immersing herself in the newsroom experience. This ambition to advance led her to Phoenix, where she took on the roles of anchor and reporter at KTV, eventually making a name for herself as a reporter on the entertainment show Extra. From that point, her career trajectory started to rise. She transitioned to Fox Sports Net and swiftly established her presence. Not only did she earn an Emmy nomination as a correspondent for Going Deep, but she also excelled as an anchor on Fox Sports News Prime Time, later taking on the position of entertainment reporter for the Best Damn Sports Show, period. Her dedication was evident, and the camera was drawn to her. By 1999, she returned to KCH Chop TV, this time stepping in as an anchor for UPN News 13, where her team won an Emmy. That same year, she also became a co-host on KTV Fox 11's Good Day LA and anchored the Fox 11 News at 10. She came heartbreakingly close to securing a coveted spot on The View during the Season 2 hosting competition. Although the role ultimately went to Lisa Ling, Sanchez made a memorable impact. In 2005, Lauren landed another headline-grabbing position as the original host of So You Think You Can Dance. The show soared in popularity, but Sanchez chose to step back after just one season to welcome her second child. After all, family has always been her foundation. By 2009, she returned to her roots, coming back to Extra as a weekend anchor and special correspondent. She kept making appearances on Good Day LA Extra and various television projects, demonstrating that her on-screen charm had not faded. Hollywood was eager for more of her, and so were the magazines. In 2010, People featured her in their 50 Most Beautiful issue, and US Weekly named her one of their hot bodies. However, Lauren was determined not to be just another pretty face on the red carpet. She accomplished something that most people wouldn't do at 40. She made the decision to become a pilot. She went one step further and established Black Ops Aviation, the first female-owned aerial film and production firm, in addition to obtaining her pilot's license. It was audacious, surprising, and incredibly Lauren. Her initiative began by fusing her passion for flying with her extensive connections in the entertainment industry. She was inducted into the Elling Halverson Vertical Flight Hall of Fame in 2024 by the Living Legends of Aviation Awards for her efforts as an aviation entrepreneur and helicopter pilot. She was only beginning, but it was a complete circle event. She did something even more intimate that year. The Fly Who Flew to Space, her debut children's book, was published. The narrative centered on Flynn, a fly who, in spite of his academic difficulties, had an insatiable curiosity about the world and ended himself in a spacecraft by accident. Lauren's own life, particularly her struggle with dyslexia as a child, was subtly referenced in the novel. Similar to her own path, the book took off and was listed as a New York Times bestseller in September 2024. Then the day arrived that would put her in the annals of history. Lauren Sanchez will travel on Blue Origin's 11th space trip under the New Shepard program, it was revealed on February 27, 2025. She wasn't traveling alone, either. Gayle King, Karan Flynn, Amanda Guan, Aisha Bowe, and Katy Perry joined her. The mission, which was carried out on April 14, 2025, was a significant turning point. Gayle and Lauren made history by being the first female journalists to travel to space. However, Lauren's narrative is about more than just gravity-defying achievements and power moves. She is equally dedicated to giving back. She assisted in spearheading the Greening America's Cities initiative, a vast 7-year, $400 million effort to establish and enhance green areas in underprivileged neighborhoods, while serving as vice chairman of the Bezos Earth Fund. Her love for the environment is not limited to that. She committed $60 million to climate-focused research centers and bio-production in March 2024. She and Bezos repeated the action that October. An additional $60 million was donated to the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation, this time. The objective? Restore and improve the management of more than 1.6 million acres of land in the United States. Shortly after, Conservation International knocked on her door to present her with their Worldwide Visionary Award in recognition of her unwavering commitment to the environment and the natural world. Then there is the Bezos Courage and Civility Award, which has given out an incredible $400 million to influential changemakers under Lauren's watchful supervision. However, her passion extends beyond natural spaces and climate change. She is assisting homeless families with housing and preschool education through the Bezos Day One Fund. And she has crossed the US-Mexico border with This Is About Humanity to help needy families who have been split up and reunited. Her services were acknowledged by the group at their annual fundraising in 2023. Therefore, even though Lauren Sanchez is surrounded by billionaires, luxury, and flashy cameras, behind the high-profile headlines and designer gowns is a lady who started at the bottom, worked her way up, and is now utilizing every bit of her fame to promote causes greater than herself. The media is constantly talking about the newest crisis that could ruin her fairy tale ending with Bezos, despite all the charity, aviation accolades, and children's books. The complex relationship history of Lauren Sanchez. Lauren wasn't exactly struggling until her idyllic marriage to Jeff put her in a completely different tax bracket. She was already drawing attention, creating a stir, and dating some of the most amazing men in entertainment and sports, including several NFL players, long before she was getting married for billions of dollars and traveling in private space. Let's just say Lauren has lived through love. A divorce, 3 kids from 2 separate ex-partners, a few highly publicized heartbreaks, and enough rumors to fill an entire season of reality TV are all on her romantic record. Lauren has been through a lot, including a broken marriage and a few nasty but memorable entanglements, yet she always manages to come out stronger. Fans are hoping that she has finally found her forever now that Jeff is by her side. However, fans couldn't be more mistaken. Jeff isn't the first husband to try to capture Lauren's heart, but he might be her last stop. In 2019, her first marriage came to an official end, after 14 years of what insiders said was a largely harmonious, prosperous, and opulent affair. She had 2 lovely children from that marriage. However, Lauren's path to parenthood actually began in 2001 with a very different man. Her first kid was born as a result of a brief romance with a Kansas City Chiefs player. Her 3 children are now all young adults. It's easy to suppose that their holiday table is a chaotic mashup of Amazon Prime deliveries and blended family feelings now that Jeff has joined the mix and brought over his own 4 grown children from his ex-wife Mackenzie Scott. Lauren saved her most spectacular act for last at a wedding unlike any other. "I do," she and Jeff said. Venice, Italy provided the breathtaking scene in June 2025, with enough celebrities to fill a Met Gala guest list. The guest list includes a who's who of high society and Hollywood. The Kardashians, Tom Brady, Orlando Bloom, Sydney Sweeney, Oprah Winfrey, Leonardo DiCaprio, and even Ivanka Trump. And, of course, one of Lauren's ex-boyfriends was also said to have been present. How, therefore, did this former TV personality who is now a helicopter pilot net her big catch? Let's take a look back at the path that brought her here, which was paved with glittering liaisons, cancelled engagements, and a few exits that raised eyebrows. Lauren was only a student with lofty aspirations before she became well known in Hollywood circles. After attending the University of New Mexico to study speech and acting, she quickly switched to El Camino College. In 1992, still unsatisfied, she took even another step. She decided to major in mass communications at the University of Southern California this time. Everything would alter with that move. During her time as a student intern at a television station in Los Angeles, Lauren attracted the attention of Rory Marcus, a sportscaster. Their relationship rapidly became intense. So much so that the two were even engaged, according to a Page 6 source. However, Lauren reportedly distanced herself from Rory once he changed employment. Young love doesn't always withstand the narrative twists of life. Tragically, Rory died of a heart attack in 2010, but he went on to become well known as a play-by-play commentator for the Angels baseball team. Lauren had already started establishing her media career by that point. She also met Anthony Miller, the Denver Broncos standout wide receiver at the time, while covering the 1996 Super Bowl in Arizona. Insiders claim that Anthony was drawn to the self-assured woman with the microphone and cameras all around her. He approached her with an offer that she accepted after her crew finished filming. Supper. There was instant chemistry. After 4 years of dating, they became engaged and remained that way for almost 2 years. However, everything exploded in 2000. Anthony allegedly spied through Lauren's notebook and discovered her cheating, according to the Daily Mail. Others, however, vowed that he was the one who had cheated, and with an exotic dancer, at that. In any case, the romance ended badly. It should come as no surprise that Anthony was not invited to her wedding in 2025. According to reports, Lauren moved on to Derek Fisher of the Los Angeles Lakers after Anthony. According to a source on Page 6, once her relationship with Anthony failed, they had a casual affair. Although neither party has spoken out about the romance, sources claim it was one of those sporadic relationships that ended before it really developed. Since then, Derek has established himself elsewhere. He later coached in the NBA and WNBA before taking over as head coach of the boys basketball team at California's Cresby Carmelite High School. In a romantic move, he also married Gloria Goen, a former basketball player. Lauren returned to the NFL for her next chapter. She started dating Tony Gonzalez, a legendary tight end, in 2001. She had her first kid, a son named Nico, as a result of their relationship. Regretfully, the pair parted ways in 2002. However, their narrative took a different course than typical Hollywood romances. Companionship. For the benefit of their son, Tony and Lauren were able to mend their relationship about 5 years after their split. Henry Simmons, a tall, endearing actor well known for NYPD Blue, arrived after Tony. In 2002, Lauren and Henry began dating, and 5 months later, they became engaged. However, the romance ended. By 2004, they had cancelled their engagement and parted ways entirely. According to some reports, the romance ended around the time Lauren met Patrick Whittle, who would later become her first husband. Lauren and Patrick got married by 2005. Patrick was familiar with the world of A-list celebrities because he was the executive chairman of the talent agency WME. Hollywood heavyweights including Jennifer Garner and Matt Damon attended their star-studded wedding. 2 more children were born to Lauren and Patrick together, a daughter named Eleanor in 2008 and a son named Evan in 2006. On the surface, their marriage appeared to be strong. However, after 14 years, things began to fall apart. They filed for divorce in January 2019, citing their all-too-typical and intractable disagreements. According to those close to the couple, they had simply lost interest in one another, their marriage had turned into a business partnership, and they both led separate lives. Naturally, there were rumors that Lauren broke up with Patrick for Bezos, so the date felt too convenient. According to other stories, when Jeff entered the picture, Lauren and Patrick were already leading different lives. In any case, the time was sufficiently near to garner media attention. The breakup remained amicable, at least in public, despite the rumors. Since then, Patrick got married again. He married Pia Miller, an Australian actress and model, in 2021. Although he was not present at Lauren's extravagant Italian wedding, his kids were there and even participated in the festivities. Lauren Sanchez's romantic life is at its zenith right now. She landed a deal with a man who is wealthier than several small nations after a flurry of athletes, actors, heartbreak, and high-profile headlines. On the love roller coaster, Jeff might be her final destination. She saved the best journey for last, though, based on the sparkle in her eye and the list of guests at her wedding. Although Lauren and Bezos' relationship may seem like all sunshine and roses, it actually began after both of them broke their spouses' hearts. Everyone was buzzing about the double divorce. Even though Jeff Bezos is currently married for the second time, his first marriage wasn't quite a peaceful farewell. After 25 years of marriage, Bezos and Mackenzie Scott announced their divorce on January 9, 2019, with a statement that presented an image of serenity. Bezos said that they had enjoyed a wonderful life together and that they still had wonderful things in store for them as parents, friends, and business partners. Even if the labels changed, he made it plain that they would always remain family. However, that picture-perfect split began to fall apart just 24 hours later. When it was revealed that the couple had not executed a prenuptial agreement, Mackenzie was entitled to half of Bezos's astounding $137 billion fortune, which caused headlines to go crazy. When everything was said and done, she left with a 4% share in Amazon and $38 billion worth of Amazon stock, making this one of the most costly divorces in history. The answer to the question of why the marriage actually ended may be directly related to Lauren Sanchez. The National Enquirer said that after following Bezos for 4 months over 40,000 miles and 5 states, they discovered a full-fledged affair. According to the publication, Bezos used his $65 million private plane to take Sanchez on far-flung vacations. They maintained that Bezos was compelled to make the divorce public because of their story. Bezos' relationship with Sanchez was never denied, but the allegations of infidelity were refuted by his legal team. They claimed that before Lauren entered the picture, it was already well known that Jeff and Mackenzie had been split up for a while. It's interesting to note that Sanchez was still wed to Patrick Whittle at the time, which only served to feed rumors that she and Bezos were cheating on their wives. Later that year, she and Whittle formalized their divorce. Brad Stone, the author of Amazon Unbound, claims that Bezos did acknowledge to his executives that he and Lauren were having an affair. He allegedly assured them that Mackenzie was okay, the children were okay, and the media was just having a field day while telling them the narrative was incorrect and out of order. All he wanted was for his team to remain business-oriented. Nevertheless, Stone noted that the controversy had left many Amazon workers feeling uneasy. It was abruptly discovered that their supposedly perfect leader was just as disorganized as the rest of them. The first warning sign. Bezos, who often detested helicopters, became enamored with them. When Lawrence's aerial film company, Black Ops Aviation, began to show up in Amazon's budget reports, his newfound obsession sparked curiosity. According to reports, executives grew suspicious. And the truth began to come to light when Bezos started to fade from meetings and become more elusive. At that point, it became impossible to ignore the affair. Since then, Mackenzie has gotten married again and gone through another divorce, this time from Dan Jwitt, a schoolteacher. She still co-parents her 4 children, 3 sons and a daughter, with Bezos. However, a Hollywood-style ceremony and pyrotechnics marked the beginning of a new chapter as the previous one came to an end. It's a match made in heaven. Officially, Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez are married. However, prior to the couple saying, "I do," Bezos had one thing more tightly secured than a Blue Origin capsule in a Venetian fantasy wedding that looked like anything from an A-list dream. A prenuptial contract. Bezos was not taking any chances, as his net worth skyrocketed to over $244 billion. After all, he lost a 4% share in Amazon and $38 billion as a result of his divorce from Mackenzie Scott. Back then, there was no prenuptial agreement. There is undoubtedly one now. Legal insiders didn't hesitate to read between the lines, even if the specific provisions are as tightly sealed as a launchpad vault. According to one, it was a strategy for protecting billionaire assets that was designed to make sure Bezos wouldn't be burnt twice. Another noted that the necessity for strong legal protections was unavoidable following a divorce that was resolved as quickly as an Amazon delivery. According to experts, the prenuptial agreement lays out every aspect of Bezos's business, including stock options, super yachts, rocket patents, and residences in the Pacific Northwest. However, cold cash isn't the only factor. A plan is probably in place for real estate, inheritance, and even the growth of assets acquired prior to marriage. The deal permits a sizable community estate with Sanchez while likely classifying Bezos's current wealth, including Amazon and Blue Origin, as distinct property. Bezos's wealth allows him to play philanthropist, protect, and provide without hesitation, according to one lawyer. Having that balance was essential. Some wealthy people go too far, forcing their new spouse to bear the emotional burden of a previous marriage, according to one specialist. Put differently, a prenuptial agreement may turn into a power struggle. It appears that avoiding that was the aim here. Despite having his enterprise under lockdown, Bezos preferred a partner to a prisoner. Their path to that collaboration was dramatic, controversial, and reminiscent of a Hollywood film. It all started in 2016 when Matt Damon threw an Apple party for Manchester by the Sea. Patrick Whittle, Lauren's ex-husband, was present. Jeff and Mackenzie Scott were still wed. There hasn't been any public sparking yet. In 2018, Bezos engaged Black Ops Aviation, Sanchez's production business, to film aerial video for Blue Origin. They were no longer only conversing at parties. Together, they were hovering over Santa Monica in helicopters. It was months later, just after the divorce news were made public, that those pictures leaked. By January 2019, Bezos and Sanchez's romance was widely publicized. People were in disbelief. News about Sanchez's time with Jeff appeared just days after the official announcement of Jeff and Mackenzie's divorce. Intimately at first, then at parties. According to a person familiar with the matter, their relationship had changed. What began as informal became regular. Sanchez and Bezos were considered as being close. Bezos had even met some of Sanchez's inner circle. Photographs from paparazzi verified it. Images of Bezos and Sanchez enjoying a comfortable helicopter ride were taken in late 2018 but made public weeks later. Both divorces were concluded months before that. Bezos was seen talking to Sanchez and her ex-husband at Amazon's Golden Globes afterparty. The connection was incredible, and the tension was evident. The tabloid battle followed. In a scathing Medium essay in February 2019, Bezos accused the National Enquirer and its parent firm AMI of attempting to blackmail him by using private texts and sexual images purportedly taken from people in his inner circle. Michael Sanchez, Lauren's older brother, speedily located himself at the center of the hurricane. Complaints followed. Allegations flew. Michael claimed he was clearly trying to manage the media narrative for his sister. Lauren, but, known as an unforgivable betrayal, announcing he secretly handed over her maximum personal statistics. Regardless of the chaos, Jeff and Lauren stored their awareness on each other. They laid low, however stayed close. Friends discovered the couple changed into prioritizing their youngsters while quietly navigating post-divorce life. Once both settlements were finalized, the two emerged into public life, arm in arm, smiling and prepared to date like regular human beings. From Sanrope to St. Bart, the couple become spotted traveling on yachts, attending Broadway suggests, and mingling with billionaire buddies. They shared meals, mingled with royalty, and posed on David Jeffen's yacht alongside Karlie Kloss and Josh Kushner. The sightings accelerated. So did the intimacy. They weren't hiding anymore. By way of the give-up of 2019, the holidays belonged to Bezos and Sanchez. They rang inside the new 12 months together within the Caribbean. Sources said things have been going top-notch. They were continuously giggling, centered, fulfilled. While the pandemic briefly pulled them out of the highlight, their philanthropic work took center level. The couple visited Colombia's Chiribicate Countrywide Park as a part of the Bezos Earth Fund, met with President Emmanuel Macron to speak about sustainability and stayed committed to giving return. Then got here the distance launches. Sanchez became front and center whilst Bezos returned from his historical Blue Origin flight in July 2021. She jumped, she cheered, she almost ran to the pill. Months later, she posted a very good fortune message for Jeff in advance of William Shatner's release, calling him my love alongside a photo of him on horseback like a billionaire cowboy. Nonetheless, they weren't all paintings and no play. Their flirty moment with Leonardo DiCaprio at the LACMA Art Plus movie gala went viral after Sanchez was caught giving Leo major tough eyes at the same time as Bezos stood beside her. The internet had a subject day. One outlet dubbed DiCaprio Mr. Metal Yo Lady. Bezos clapped return with a photo of himself by way of a cliff, cautioned Leo to look at his step. It become playful. It become petty. It become best. Thanksgiving posts showed them aspect via facet in the front of a table full of turkey, all smiles, and diffused PDA. On Instagram, Sanchez thanked Jeff for uplifting her to make a difference. By way of now, she wasn't simply his female friend. She became his philanthropic partner, his co-pilot, and his biggest fan. After which there has been the hoop. In May additionally, for the duration of a sun-drenched getaway on Bezos's $500 million sailing yacht, Carolus Sanchez became noticed flashing a diamond so huge it can probably be visible from orbit. The yacht complete with a helipad, a couple of decks, and a custom sculpture of Lauren herself on the bow. That sculpture wasn't only a tribute. It featured a reference to new beginnings. The symbolism was loud and proud. The engagement turned into confirmed rapidly after the couple attended the Killers of the Flower Moon Greatest at Can. Friends stated they were on cloud nine, head over heels in love, obsessed. The engagement birthday party changed into intimate, held on the yacht and attended by way of Invoice Gates and his girlfriend. Visitors defined Lauren as sparkling. Her ring past stunning. She couldn't forestall gambling with it. Within the lead-up to the wedding, Sanchez found out that she'd already been curating her dream day on Pinterest, just like any other bride. However, this wasn't simply another wedding ceremony. This became the occasion of the 12 months. On June 27, 2025, Jeff and Lauren tied the knot at the island of San Gio Important in Venice. The visitor listing examined like a Met Gala seating chart. The Kardashian-Jenner extended family showed up in full pressure. Kris and Corey had been there. So have been Orlando Bloom, Tom Brady, Sydney Sweeney, Oprah Winfrey, Gayle King, and of Path, Invoice Gates. Lauren wore a custom Dolce & Gabbana robe with a corseted bodice, lace sleeves, and a train that trailed through the historical venue like a silk river. Jeff stored it conventional in a black tuxedo. The rite turned into non-public, emotional, and superb. Visitors had been later whisked to the gritty palace for a reception that felt extra like a royal ball than a wedding afterparty. Andrea Bocelli's son, Matteo, serenaded the visitors. Ellie Goulding performed. Champagne flowed. Cameras had been banned. Everybody danced. Ahead of the marriage, Sanchez opened up approximately how much she had changed given that assembly. Jeff Remedy had helped her grow, however it changed into Jeff who found out her, not reshaped her. She described feeling secure, visible, unapologetically unfastened. Being with Jeff permit her be exactly who she became without hesitation, without compromise. She said she felt fortunate to be marrying her exceptional friend, a person who loved her, someone she loved, a person who permit her fly, actually and emotionally. And now with one of the most high-profile weddings in current history in the back of them and one of the maximum shielding prenups money can purchase. Backing them, Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez are formally of their next chapter. They're in love and locked in. What are your mind on Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's relationship? Proportion your mind with us in the comments underneath. Keep in mind to love, proportion, and subscribe. Additionally, click on the next video shown to your display.